On behalf of the Historically Black College and University's Green Fund and all of those foot soldiers who are working for climate justice, we extend a warm welcome to the Day of the Diaspora for the COP27 pre-summit. You are welcome to participate in all of our workshops, our activities, our forums, our exhibits. But most of all, you are welcome to the family who is working very hard and diligently to come up with community-based solutions to climate change impacts. In November 2022, COP27 will be held in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. It will be hosted by the government of the Arab Republic of Egypt. The 27th Congress will look at where we have come over the last years in terms of implementing all of the agreements, where we have been successful, and where we need to go. COP stands for Conference of the Parties and is the annual United Nations Climate Change Conference that takes place in a different host city. The COP is the supreme decision-making body of the UN's Convention on Climate Change, and it assesses progress on combating climate change. This year, the conference will be focused on Goal 13, climate action. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. The targets are strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity to climate, related hazards and natural disasters in all countries, integrate climate change measures into national policies, strategies, and planning, improve education, awareness raising, and human and institutional capacity on climate change mitigation, adaptation, impact reduction, and early warning. To implement the commitment undertaken by the developed country parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change to a goal of mobilizing jointly $100 billion annually by 2020, which has already passed, from all sources to address the needs of developing countries in the context of meaningful mitigation actions and transparency on implementation, and fully operationalize the Green Climate Fund through the capitalization as soon as possible. And finally, promote mechanisms for raising capacity for effective climate change-related planning and management in least developed countries and small island developing states, including focusing on women, youth, and local marginalized communities. Climate change affects the social and environmental determinants of health, clean air, safe drinking water, sufficient food, and secure shelter. Between 2030 and 2050, climate change is expected to cause up to approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year from malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea, and heat stress. The direct damage caused to health is estimated to be between $2 to $4 billion per year. Reducing emissions of greenhouse gases through better transport, food, and energy use choices can result in improved health, particularly through reduced air pollution. Over the past 50 years, human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, have released sufficient quantities of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases to trap additional heat in the lower atmosphere and affect the global climate, just like here in Savannah and many other coastal cities and towns throughout the planet. Many experts, researchers, academicians, students, and residents have spent a great deal of time investigating the causes and effects of climate change, as well as the intersection of climate change and health effects. With the involvement of various experts in the fields of physics, chemistry, biology, engineering, political science, and finance, they have focused on what we must do to stop our planet's collision with a certain environmental disaster. Because of this course, we must work toward net zero emissions of greenhouse gases, and we must, as all are saying, reduce our carbon footprint. There are profound challenges we face in making a just transition from a fossil fuel world to one of clean, renewable, pollution-free energy production and usage. Many are already working on solutions to this critical problem. People are working on essential innovations and technologies to get us where we need to go. We must focus on plans and policies that governments should adopt, while we also look at what we can do as individuals and NGOs, community-based organizations. What can we do at the small level to impact what is going on at the macro level? We have to keep our government, our employers, and ourselves accountable for what is going to happen on this long road to transforming our cities, our states, and our countries into fossil fuel-free zones. Yes, I said fossil fuel-free zones. That's why government policies matter. That's why this pre-COP summit matters. That's why it is important that as many voices as we can mobilize to go to Egypt is essential. Leaders must articulate a vision for how the global and local economies will make the transition to zero carbon. So today we celebrate Big Mama, Mother Earth. We are working to protect her and her people, and we're looking for energy justice. Energy justice refers to the goal of achieving equity in both the social and economic participation in the energy system, while also remediating social, economic, and health burdens on those disproportionately harmed by the energy system. Energy justice explicitly centers the concerns of marginalized communities and aims to make energy more accessible, affordable, and clean, and democratically managed for all communities. Energy justice embodies the affordability principle. The affordability principle argues that all people, including the poor, should get energy at a reasonable cost and should pay no more than 10% of their energy income for energy services. Communities of color will and do suffer the disproportionate and the deepest impacts of climate change, given the legacies of legalized segregation, redlining, and disinvestment. All of these have led us to be more vulnerable to climate impacts. So it is our job to reduce the energy burden, to alleviate insecurity and hardships, to eliminate poverty, and to advance democracy. Let us remember as we go through these proceedings and as we travel to Egypt to participate in COP27, as Dr. Martin Luther King taught us, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Welcome to the pre-COP27 summit. We thank the Historically Black College and University Green Fund for ensuring that the voice of the people is heard.